Overflows.
Deeper tantric insights into feminine sexuality. The entire sky seems still in deep slumber. Head of the cosmic family seems has taken a day off today. The cool breeze indicates this as it surges through the bones to create a shiver. Seems sun will play hide and seek with clouds today. Infinite playground is available for it to play. Who the sun is playing this hide and seek with? Did you realize? Seems with itself, right? Isn't it? This is what you are doing, my friend, playing this hide and seek. Wake up from this slumber. Existence is ready to share its morning freshness. Deeper insights into feminine sexuality is the core for sexual fulfillment for the couple. This understanding, when attains fruition, creates circle of energy flowing into each other. When this happens, entire life enters into a new dimensionless dimension beyond duality, a life of bliss and harmony. Concerning the G spot, it has been tried to find the exact location but have never been found. Therefore, by stimulating any part of the vaginal wall alone, it will be difficult to trigger off an orgasm. However, this is different with the cervix. Stimulating the cervix by fingers or penis is very satisfying and gives a feeling of being touched deeply, literally. This alone can cause an orgasm, though not as inevitable as with clitoral stimulation. Both together can give a profound orgasmic experience as like vibrating the highest and the deepest strings of an instrument. With that, the whole instrument will begin to resonate and vibrate in a wave-like orgasmic joy. Unfortunately, a man's penis is often not large enough to reach to the cervix and massage it. Unlike, unlike clitoris, unlike clitoral stimulation, which requires great sensitivity, not too firm, not too rough, more feather-like, and above all, not too dry. The cervix needs a very direct, firm type of massage-like stimulation. So if that is not possible, a man should take care of his woman by using the fingers or artificial helpers to take her to this profound experience. In this context, it is certainly no coincidence that the imaginary G spot is located very far forward in the vagina, so that even the smallest penis certainly can easily reach. Unfortunately, in reality, there is no G spot. And it is certainly no coincidence that the importance of stimulating the cervix is not discussed at all, as it is placed at the most distant point, the deepest in the vagina. It has to be sensitive for the simple reason that the child has to be born. If the vagina was sensitive, childbirth would be an absolutely unbearable pain. Even though the vagina is not sensitive, childbirth is still a great pain. It is natural and very logical and scientific that vagina should be insensitive, so that when the child is born, the woman is not in much pain. The pain depends on your sensitive organs. The vagina is a blind spot. On the body, you have many blind spots. You will be surprised to know that inside your skull, where the brain is placed, it is absolutely insensitive. One should never have thought that the brain is our most significant organ, and it is in a place inside the skull which is absolutely insensitive. For thousands of years, man has believed that woman has a vaginal orgasm. It was believed all over the world. There was no way of checking it. And perhaps man never wanted to explore the fact, because if the woman becomes aware that she has a separate organ for having orgasm, she becomes free of man. So when in the beginning of this century the function of clitoris was discovered, it was a tremendous boost to women's liberation movement, because the woman became aware in the West that for sexual pleasure she does not have to be dependent on men. And with this, that basic slavery is not a necessity anymore. There are scientific researchers. There are scientific researchers who say that the woman has a point in her vagina called the G spot, which is sensitive and which has the capacity of orgasm. It is not something new. For almost this whole century, since the function of clitoris has been discovered, even a man like Sigmund Freud continued to say that the woman may have clitoral orgasm, but that is not important. The important orgasm is vaginal. This is what Sigmund Freud, the father of modern psychology, has said. You could not deny the clitoris, but he could not deny the vaginal orgasm either. And since then, there have been researchers who have insisted that the woman has two sensitive organs for having sexual orgasm. But the greatest researchers have found that the vagina cannot have this sensitivity by its very nature, because it is going to be used for giving birth to children. It cannot have any sensitive part which can give real orgasmic pleasure. Then giving birth to a child would not be painful, instead a great pleasure, which even a man cannot give to a woman by making love. The birth of a child would be such a tremendous orgasmic experience. But the reality remains, there is no vaginal orgasm. But why do a few scientists go on insisting on it? Even Sigmund Freud could not deny the vaginal orgasm. Now they have started talking about some imaginary G point. It is absolutely absurd, according to me, because it goes against the very nature. Childbirth prevents the vagina from having any sensitive point, and particularly an orgasmic point. But then the question arises, why do these few researchers go on insisting again and again? The reason is that these are male chauvinists. Just being a scientist does not mean that you have gone beyond your male chauvinistic ideas. They still want to emphasize the fact that for sexual pleasure, the woman is dependent on man, and this can be possible only if there is that imaginary G point. But it cannot be denied, and even the psychologists have mentioned that in order to have a fulfilling orgasmic experience, the woman must play with her clitoris or focus on clitoral orgasm while engaged in heterosexual interaction. And now, those women who emphasize on self-pleasure and not on being a lesbian, they use masturbation, and in that the emphasis remains on clitoral massage. I am neither a scientist nor a sex researcher. This is not my business either. My main effort is spiritual transformation. But this is not possible if the basic requirement of the human life or human being is not fulfilled. Sex is the most important and basic aspect. If sexually man or a woman is not fulfilled, it is very difficult for her to get an orgasm. But through sexual interaction, one can easily attain to enlightenment and life beyond. This has been the experience of many women, though they have not mentioned, but I am aware of this fact. However, my logic is simple and natural. I have looked at both the researchers and I agree with those who say that woman has only clitoral orgasm. It seems to me that those people are more authentic and more sincere. They are more interested in the truth than in the supremacy of man over woman. And I am absolutely against any kind of supremacy, either of man or woman. They are both unique and complementary to one another. Nobody is dependent for his or her pleasure on the other. If they share, it is a beautiful, profound experience. And if they do not want to share, they are both independent. Man can have sexual orgasm without a woman. However, he is not ready to allow the woman to have sexual orgasm without him. I am simply making a logical point. Certainly, I have no vested interest in women having a G spot, G point, or X point, or Y point. She can have the whole alphabet. It is not my interest at all, but I can see the cunningness of a few people who are even scientists, but their mind and their approach is not scientific. It is not logical. Instead, it is juvenile. Therefore, does not convince me at all. Enough for now.